That's no moon.
All right. Hello. If you could just start us off with your name and where you're from.
Yeah, I'm Nathan Gribble, and I'm from the Pacific Northwest,
Okay. Like the Seattle area then,
more
or
near the Spokane on the east side,
okay. Okay. Very cool.
the less populated side.
Gotcha. Gotcha. A little calmer over there, I hope.
Not in terms of weather, but in terms of less
Oh,
people. A
yeah. Cool.
little bit more sporadic weather than the West Coast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
West Coast has more consistent weather. Well, we have all four seasons.
Gotcha. I have not experienced all four seasons yet. I lived in Arizona for most of my life.
Yeah, the East Coast, you got the freezing cold winters, super boiling hot summers. You got full fall, full spring. You get
Uh-huh.
everything.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you recently won LVO, correct?
Correct with the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, with a surprising Obi-Wan that caught a lot of people off guard. Um, is this the list that you're also taking to Adepticon?
Most likely, unless any random last minute changes, but I think
Okay.
I'm set with everything. The only thing I might drop is probably Padme's gun, but I don't know what's anything that's worth the 5 points versus the
Okay.
versatility of it.
So for those that didn't see the LVO results, why don't you tell us a little bit about this list?
So I have Obi-Wan and Commander Cody for my commanders, and I have Padme for the operative, two Phase 2 mortars with medics, a Phase 1 RPS 6 with medic, an Echo Strike team with nothing on them, and a naked ATRT with relay.
Okay. That's a lot of cumbersome, right? Did
Yes.
all of your core have cumbersome? Is
Every
that like
yes.
problematic you found? Like,
The only time I found it problematic was against a Padme pike list and a local versus a local guy who was just kiting me the entire time.
ah,
But I played that game way before LVO and I learned from that game. And
okay.
I can't do the Republic only move once, shoot, or did a token. I would have to do a lot more moves throughout the whole tournament in
Okay.
LVO. So the cumbersome doesn't be that uh interfering.
Okay. I think I understand. So, what would you say are the strengths of this list and how you're using it?
I would say the overall biggest strength of the list is facing any list that wants to do the same thing I want to do, that is attrition and just solely pick off models.
Okay. And why, just explain for viewers why your list is so good at it.
Because if Obi-Wan's Guardian 3 and the dodges he produces with Padme, you only need to make 3 or 4 dodges around, or even just
Okay.
2 to 3 dodges around, and as long as Obi-Wan has access to it, he can mitigate almost all the damage incoming, or just put it on into himself, or just take a wound off here or there on the clone squads across the rounds. So by
Okay.
the end of 4, 5, 6, I still have fully healthy core left.
Right. Now, do you have, so you have Guardian, you have dodges. Do you go with Protector or do you go with situational awareness on
I have
Obi-Wan?
protector and barrier on Obi-Wan just for the crit
Barrier.
mitigation,
Yeah.
mainly for, well, it's really the protector is really there to get for versus any bounty hunters and rebel high velocity crit stuff,
Okay. Okay. Nice.
because rebels and bounty hunters are going to be the most consistent way to get damage into the core. But if Obi-Wan just immune
Right.
immune to pierce a guardian all it away, so the core is not taking much of any
Right.
damage.
And he's basically a 9 health Obi-Wan, right? Because the three medics.
Yeah, pretty much how the bent on the Guardian goes. Ideally, all those medic charges are for Obi-Wan. I've had
Hmm.
cases where Obi-Wan rolls pretty well, and I just use them on the core themselves to boost them up,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
Cody if he needs it.
Okay. Yeah, got take it whatever you can do to stem the attrition. No, I get it. I like it. What would you say the weaknesses or flaws to this list are?
Well, I would say the biggest overall weakness and flaws is versus anybody whose whole goal is not to fight me. Because I think what my list really does well at is forcing if the opponent is attacking me, it is in my favor. But I'd like to be on the defensive. So if the
Hmm.
opponent just kiting me and just doesn't fight me the entire game, I don't have the mobility of moving shooting since everything is
Okay.
cumbersome.
Okay. Now, what was the rationale for going with the three cumbersome heavy weapons rather than like Z6s and something that gives a little more mobility and firepower?
Mainly just come down to the price because a phase two
Yeah.
mortar is just 2 points more than a DC 15 phase one. You get courage two
Yeah.
and reliable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And doesn't it have critical on it?
It has
Or am
critical and suppressive
yeah.
on top of it. And also,
Yeah.
if you just even if you don't get to shoot with the mortar, it's still a 6 black attack with a reliable one on courage two core,
That's true. That's true.
and it's
Okay.
cheaper than a phase two squad with Z6 with by like 9 points.
Oh wow. Gosh, they're so expensive.
Yeah, the phase two mortar is
Yeah.
absolutely insane how expensive that unit is. I like it, but I just found the mortar to be more self-sufficient. The phase two Z6, you want aims, you want a fire support. The phase two mortar, just it's
It's
good
good
by itself.
enough. Yeah.
It doesn't need all these support to make it full use of it. As a Z6, you want to put lots of aims and surges in fire support to make its full use of that 6 white dice.
Okay. I'm with you. Um, Now, could you describe for us your fondest or most memorable game moment of Legion?
I have had a lot of memorable moments, but with and overall, I would say is when I was running a Lat Vader list and I killed the
Ooh.
T series on Vader's 3 pip that panicked the entire droid army.
Oh, wow.
So I had Baron Ruder and he sniped the T series just at range
Oh,
3. Then Vader
yeah.
activated and panicked the whole droid army.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is pretty hot. Yeah, when you could pull that off and sniping the very, very fragile separatist commander.
And
Nice.
another awesome moment, my local guy we still talk about is when I killed Yoda round one with an ATST and a dewback.
Oh, no. Poor Yoda.
Yoda decided to go on top of Chewbacca, and I played that 2 pip that shuffles the orders back into the can, so he was unable to draw
Uh-huh.
Yoda or Chewbacca, and the
Uh-huh.
ATST got a full shot, and the dewback finished the 1 health Yoda.
Oh, no. All that Guardian wasn't enough, though?
The ATST was rolling stupid hot, and Yoda did not roll well.
Man. Because, dang, dang.
Yoda was just in a. He thought Yoda was hidden behind the wall, but the ATST, I walked forward and saw over.
Yeah, yeah, that Eye of Sauron, as people call it. We'll see everything.
I absolutely love the ATST and tanks in general.
They can be fun, and it's nice when they can shine on a table. Yeah.
I feel like after the cover changes, it just hurt tanks so badly.
Yeah, I mean you're not getting out of cover shots for
Like
sure.
it doesn't feel like your tanks and such are like the ATST is huge height advantage made it so you can shoot over lots of cover. But
Yeah.
now it's everything's heavy cover and ATST is practically always in no cover.
Yeah, yeah. Although cover returning back to the ATST rarely matters, right?
Yeah, it
Only
only
for
matters
like
against
small die pools that have impact.
yeah. It doesn't help you against the critical spam.
Yeah, or just natural crits even. Okay. How about your fondest non-game moment in the Legion community?
Uh I would say probably when I was just talking out and people were convinced me to try out the mortar because I was the longest time I hated the mortar because I used it a few times before all its buffs and changes. I was like, this gun is just so expensive for nothing. Then
Yeah.
then the people in the guard chat like just try it out. It's just after the cumbersome changes especially, it made it a lot more usable and price efficient gun. And I started playing with it
Okay.
more, and it's like okay, let's try it out. Convinced me, and I was like, after at first time I used it, I didn't really get to feel it, but after just having a phase two squad and using it more and more and that suppressive kicking in some games, like this is actually a good gun.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just like list building and like
Yeah, just strategizing,
with the
theorizing.
community, with friends and yeah,
Yeah, just
very
random list
fun.
building and theorizing. What another favorite one is when I thought of the whole idea of putting General Grievous in the snail tank.
Oh, yeah, you get that extra range on his one pip. Yeah.
The main reason is so
And just get him there.
he's immune to force push as long as he's in the tank.
Yes, yes, he is.
So he can be a menace to lock down when he's in the tank, and it's
Right,
quite fun to just send the tank full speed. Hey, Grievous is in your line, and oh, the tank just retreats and Grievous is gone.
right. You could even like base contact with the tank and then have Grievous attack with his lightsabers.
Yeah, that
Right.
happened to me again in the local. He sent Maul and Assange against Grievous in the tank.
Hmm.
Grievous played his one pip, killed Maul, then killed
Oh,
Assange.
jeez.
The tank went down, but Grievous survived
Yeah.
because
Wow.
after the takedown got down and Assange was by herself out of melee, the Magna Guards just swarmed her and she was stuck
Mm.
facing Magna Guards.
Yeah, no Jedi wants to go against Magna Guards.
I
They
have
are.
Magna Guards have been the bane of my clone gunline list for so long. As soon as they get into melee, they're impossible to move.
Yeah. Yeah. Obi-Wan at least can help a little bit with it, with the his two pip guardianing in melee.
He can help them survive, but it's just like, yeah, and force
He
push
still
around
has
with.
to kill him. Yeah, and is not good at it.
No, that's what Cody's there for.
Yeah, he's got the ranged pierce. That helps for sure. Padme's got ranged pierce as well.
Yeah, and Echo as well. I have three sources of range Pierce.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, so with this list of yours, what kind of list do you want to play against? And what
Hon-
kind of list makes you nervous?
Honestly, I prefer any kind of melee skews.
You do? Okay.
Melee skews usually have to fight and go into your lines. And
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
LB1, I want them to charge me. I want them to try to get in my lines, survive the guns. And as soon as they get their lines, I play LB's 2 pip and I absorb their first round of melee, then I can counter back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty huge if you stop that initial tide.
I think that's the makes Obi-Wan the most unique out of all other guard Jedi is his really good melee defense for your entire army.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a scenario that's like even come up very often because we haven't had successful melee skews, but now that we have like Ewoks and Wookiees that are doing well, like yeah, it's that's actually relevant.
I had games where Vader comes in and Obi-Wan Guardian all the Pierce into that Gar's clone squad and he's using maybe one, two
Yeah.
clones instead of usually five or six with a Vader hit.
Yeah, that Pierce 3 goes to nothing. So satisfying. Well, almost nothing, but it's still.
It mitigates a lot of damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
On top of pretty much when you face Obi-Wan, your entire as Obi-Wan, your entire army pretty much has uh deflect when
Yeah.
he's Guardian.
Yeah, for sure. So then what kind of list? So you want to play against melee skews. What kind of list do you not want to play against?
From all my experience facing it, I feel like bikes and anything with a lot of mobility that can choose when to go in are definitely the
Hmm,
best. Just because as Obi-Wan, if
the
his
command
cards,
card timing.
yeah, it's his command card timing is paramount to his success. So if they see I play the 2 pip and they is like, okay, I don't go in and I just delay it. Well, as a
Right.
melee, if they really can't delay it and take another round of shooting from my gun line,
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, are there any individual players that you would like to play against or like to avoid at Adepticon?
I honestly don't have any real preference because everybody I faced in LVO was the first time I faced them because I never went to a big tournament beforehand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm
So
not too familiarized with everybody that's there.
okay, just up for any challenge then.
Yeah.
I like it. Uh, lastly here, could you give us a fun fact about yourself that others in the community might not know?
Uh, well, I say Legion's my third ever tabletop game I've played. My first being Armada, my second was X-Wing, and Legion was my third.
Okay.
And I've been enjoying it a lot. I used to not like it as much as Armada, but as I played more of it, I found it to be almost on par and almost it. I would say Armada is still my favorite tabletop game,
Okay. Okay.
but Legion is definitely number two.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth to Legion that like I started with X-Wing and there was a lot of depth that I found in Legion that I couldn't find in X-Wing. A lot more dynamic choices and important decision making.
Yeah, most definitely. With X-Wing, and the biggest thing I disliked about X-Wing is like I always seemed like, oh, I just wanted to fly all the biggest, chunkiest ships, and I just like they just die.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used
It's
to
a
run,
big dice game and just like piloting game,
yeah,
really, in
I
X-Wing.
ran in my local scene. I always ran four arcs, and they was like, okay, if you flank me, I have a turret out my back, I have guns out the front, and I just fly in such a tight formation where they can't avoid the
Right.
guns.
Right. Right. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, uh, thank you very much for your time. Do you have any local store or club that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I would definitely have to say it's the Uncle's Game Store in Washington State. When I first got into miniature games, I was looking on Amazon. I saw the Star Destroyer model. I bought it and found out that goes to a game. That I looked
Oh,
online and went to the local store, and it's just been such a great community.
nice.
The Spokane um FFG and AMG scene is just so friendly and nice. There's so many people that play Legion,
Good.
and
Good. That's always good to hear.
yeah,
Cool.
the local scene is very great, and there's all great people, and the stores are all fantastic as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you again for your time. We hope you have a lot of success at Adepticon and make Obi-Wan continue to shine.
I'm just glad my favorite character is that was working out.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you have a good night.
You too. Have a good rest of your night.
That's no moon.